Have you ever noticed how your mind can create entire storms out of a single thought? You lay down at night, hoping for peace, but instead your mind pulls you into a spiral. What if this happens? What if that goes wrong? Why did they say that? What if I'm not enough? It's almost like your brain becomes a runaway train, and no matter how much you want to stop it, you feel trapped inside. If you've ever felt this heaviness, this constant pressure of thinking too much, then hear me clearly, you are not broken. Your mind is simply searching for peace in the wrong places. And this is exactly what Lord Buddha understood long before modern psychology even existed. Buddha taught that the greatest suffering comes not from the world outside but from the stories we create inside. He said, "The mind is everything. What you think, you become." But here's the part most people forget. Your mind is not the enemy. It's simply untrained. Just like a wild horse running in every direction, your mind runs toward fear, toward doubt, toward past regrets and future worries because no one ever taught it to rest. Buddha didn't tell people to fight their mind, he taught them how to understand it. Overthinking begins with one innocent thought, but the mind grabs it, stretches it, twists it, adds fear to it, and suddenly you're living inside a reality that only exists in your imagination. The problem is not the thought. The problem is the attachment we build around it. Buddha explained that thoughts are like clouds, they come and go. But suffering begins when we chase every cloud and try to control its shape. That's why you feel exhausted. That's why your energy drains. You're trying to predict a future that hasn't even arrived. You're trying to fix situations that exist only in your mind. You're living in a world that isn't real. Buddha's wisdom shows us something powerful. Overthinking is not a thinking problem, it's a clinging problem. You cling to fears. You cling to memories. You cling to expectations. You cling to what people said, what people didn't say, what might happen, what could go wrong. And the more you cling, the more your mind tightens around those thoughts like a fist that doesn't know how to open. And here's the surprising truth. The mind overthinks because it wants to protect you. It thinks worrying will somehow prepare you, shield you, keep you safe. But Buddha revealed a liberating reality. Worry does not protect you. It punishes you before life even happens. You suffer twice. Once in your imagination, and then once in reality. And most of the time, reality isn't even as painful as the version your mind created. So how do you stop overthinking? Buddha taught that suffering ends the moment we stop reacting to every thought and start observing it. He said that when you watch the mind without judgment, it begins to settle on its own. Imagine sitting beside a river. You don't jump in, trying to stop the water with your hands. You simply let it flow. That is the essence of mindfulness. When a thought arises, you don't suppress it, you don't fear it, and you don't follow it. You simply acknowledge it and let it pass. The mind calms because your attention is no longer feeding its chaos. One of Buddha's most powerful teachings on this topic came when a disciple asked him, "Master, how do I stop my mind from wandering?" Buddha smiled and said, "You don't stop the wind. You stop letting it carry you." That is the heart of overthinking. Being carried away by your thoughts. The moment you become aware, the moment you say, "This is just a thought," the spell breaks. The storm loses its power. But there's an even deeper reason why overthinking has taken over so many lives. It's because most people are living disconnected from the present moment. Buddha said, "Do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future, concentrate the mind on the present moment." When you are fully present, worry cannot survive. Anxiety cannot enter. Fear loses its energy. Overthinking is the art of living everywhere except where life actually is, right here, right now. And no matter how fast your mind runs, peace can only be found in the stillness of this moment. Another reason we overthink is because we believe the illusion that if we worry long enough, things will go our way. But Buddha said something beautifully freeing. Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. Nothing outside, not people, not situations, not outcomes, can give you the inner peace you're searching for. The mind keeps racing because it's looking outside for something that exists only inside. Overthinking fades the moment you realize that clarity isn't found by thinking more, it's found by thinking less, by returning to yourself. Buddha's advice is not about escaping your problems but about understanding them. He taught that every worry has a deeper root: fear of loss, fear of rejection, fear of uncertainty, or fear of not being enough. When you shine awareness on these fears, they begin to dissolve. They lose their hold over you. Overthinking is simply fear disguised as thinking. And here's something Buddha emphasized again and again: you are not your thoughts. Your thoughts come and go, but the awareness watching them, that quiet space inside you, that is your true self. When you shift from thinking to witnessing, the mind automatically relaxes. You begin to feel lighter, calmer, more centered. This is the beginning of real spiritual healing. Imagine breathing deeply, closing your eyes, and telling your mind, "You don't have to protect me. I am safe." This single affirmation softens years of inner tension. It brings you back to the present. Buddha taught that peace is your natural state. Overthinking is simply a cloud covering it. Remove the cloud, and the sky reveals itself. And as you begin to understand your mind in this new light, as a friend that needs teaching, not an enemy to fight, you'll feel something shift inside you. You'll feel the first spark of stillness, the first moment of relief, the first breath that feels real. And this is where your deeper transformation begins, because once that first spark of stillness appears, even for a moment, you begin to realize that peace was never missing, it was simply hidden beneath layers of noise your mind kept creating. Buddha said that the moment you learn to pause, even briefly, the mind starts revealing its true nature. And its true nature is not chaos. It is clarity. It is silence. It is awareness itself. But the mind doesn't show you this immediately. It tests you first. It pulls you back into old patterns, old fears, old mental loops. Not because it wants you to suffer, but because that's all it has ever known. The mind is comfortable in its habits, even the painful ones. This is why so many people struggle to break free from overthinking. They expect instant calm. They expect the mind to behave just because they now understand it. But Buddha taught that the mind is like a child that has been running wild for years. If you suddenly ask it to sit still, it won't listen right away. It will resist. It will rebel. It will bring up even more thoughts, more fears, more noise. But if you stay patient, if you keep observing, something magical begins to happen. The mind realizes it doesn't need to run anymore. And this is where Buddha offered one of the most profound spiritual insights about overthinking. Your thoughts lose power the moment you stop believing they're facts. A thought is just a thought. It is not reality. Yet when a worrying thought appears, you immediately assume it's true. That's why it hurts. That's why it grows. You give it life by identifying with it. Buddha said, pain is certain. Suffering is optional. Thoughts may appear, that's natural. But suffering comes only when you cling to them and say, this is who I am. This is my truth. Let's imagine a simple scenario. A thought appears, I'm not good enough. If you watch it from awareness, it passes. It dissolves like mist. But if you attach to it, it becomes a whole story, memories of your failures, fears about the future, comparisons with others. Suddenly, the mind builds a prison, and you walk right inside. This is how overthinking traps you, not through the thought itself, but through the belief that the thought defines you. Buddha's wisdom breaks this illusion by teaching you that your thoughts are simply mental weather. You are the sky. Weather changes. The sky remains. So how do you start applying this in real life? Buddha offered 3 simple yet transformative practices: awareness, non-attachment, and compassion. The first, awareness, means becoming conscious of your thoughts instead of being controlled by them. When you notice your mind spiraling, you gently pull yourself back. Not with force, not with judgment, just with attention. This breaks the chain. This interrupts the momentum. Awareness brings you back into your body, your breath, your present moment. The second practice, non-attachment, is what frees you from mental torture. It means letting thoughts arise and pass without grabbing onto them. Imagine holding sand. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips away. But if you keep your hand open, nothing escapes. Thoughts work the same way. Let them come. Let them go. No resistance, no clinging. That is the essence of freedom. And the third practice, compassion, is what heals the emotional roots of overthinking. Most people respond to their anxious mind with anger or frustration. They say, why am I like this? Why can't I just calm down? But Buddha taught, be kind to your mind. It is doing the best it can. Treat your thoughts with gentleness. Speak to yourself with softness. When fear appears, don't fight it. Say, I see you. I understand why you're here. This compassion melts the grip of anxiety faster than force ever could. Another essential part of Buddha's wisdom is understanding impermanence. Everything in life, including your thoughts, your emotions, your worries, comes and goes. Nothing stays forever. Overthinking often convinces you that the fear you feel now will last forever. But Buddha said that nothing, not even suffering, is permanent. The storm inside you will pass, and when it does, you will see that you were always stronger than the thoughts that tried to control you. But here's something even deeper. Overthinking comes from a lack of trust. When you don't trust yourself, when you don't trust life, the mind tries to plan everything, control everything, predict everything. It tries to create certainty in a world that is naturally uncertain. Buddha taught that peace begins the moment you accept reality as it is, not as your mind wants it to be. Letting go of control doesn't mean giving up. It means recognizing that life is unfolding in a way your mind cannot always understand. When you accept uncertainty with an open heart, worry loses its fuel. Fear loses its teeth. You start to live with a softer mind, a mind that doesn't rush into conclusions, doesn't jump into fear, doesn't cling to what it cannot hold. And suddenly, something new appears inside you. Space. Space to breathe. Space to feel. Space to exist. Space to be present. That space is where peace lives. Not in the absence of thoughts, but in the absence of attachment to them. And when you begin to experience even a glimpse of this inner space, you start realizing that your mind is not a cage, it is a tool. A tool that can serve you instead of scare you. A tool that can guide you instead of overwhelm you. Buddha revealed that the quiet mind is not empty. It is full of awareness, full of understanding, full of wisdom. And as that awareness grows inside you, thought by thought, breath by breath, moment by moment, you slowly step into a new way of living, a way where your mind becomes a place of rest instead of conflict, a place of clarity instead of chaos, a place of peace instead of noise. Before you go, take a moment, just breathe. You don't have to fix your whole life today. You don't have to solve every worry, every thought, every fear. Buddha taught that peace doesn't arrive when the world becomes perfect. Peace arrives the moment you stop fighting your mind and start observing it with compassion. So as you move forward from this video, carry this truth with you. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. And the awareness within you is naturally calm, naturally wise, naturally free. Whenever your mind begins to spiral, pause and return to this simple practice. One breath in, one breath out, and the reminder that this moment is enough. If this message brought you clarity, support, or even a little peace, I invite you to stay connected. There is so much more wisdom, healing, and truth waiting for you. Thank you for spending this time with me today. May you be peaceful, may you be free, and may your mind become your friend again. I'll see you in the next video.